Prophet, it is the house of the Holy Prophet also, peace be upon him and his progeny, will be destroyed. And horses will be tied in that place, as it were the tomb of the Holy Prophet being made stable for horses. His member will be destroyed, Masjid al-Nabawi will be destroyed, and as though all that was not going to be enough, he will then march his army from Medina to Makkah, the first orders being, the moment you take charge of Makkah, destroy the Kaaba straight away, and lower it, flatten it to the ground straight away. That will be the command. But Allah, glorified and exalted, will tell Sufyani who truly Allah is, who truly is the God, even on earth and ruling the earth. When his army, and it will be of 100,000 soldiers. You can imagine it will be a vast army of 100,000 people, and as they will be marching on their horsebacks across the deserts and on camels across the deserts to Makkah, when they will reach the desert of Baida, they will find that suddenly the earth beneath them will give way, and all the 100,000 people except for those two, all of them will sink in the ground and will all get buried. Their horses will get buried, their armaments will get buried. There will be no sign at all of their ever having been there. The two who will be saved will not know what to do, and suddenly an angel will come down and slap them both. But the slap will be such that their face will turn right round. They will be looking behind instead of looking in front, because indeed that is the kind of people they will be. One will be told that you are now Bashir, that is the bearer of good news. Go to Makkah, go fast to Makkah, reach Makkah, and tell Al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu Farajahum. Go and tell him that the army of Sufyani has already been buried in Baida, and tell him that he is in Damascus, and he can go to Damascus and fight him there. The other will be told, you are Nadir, go to Damascus, go to Sufyani, tell him that the Mahdi Ajjalallahu Farajahu has already reappeared. Go to Makkah and make his bay'ah and follow his commands. Of course, he was not going to obey those orders. When the 12th Imam alayhi salam will get this news and will know that this is the havoc he is wreaking, he will leave Makkah, because at that time he will be busy in Makkah. Because when the 12th Imam alayhi salam will reappear in Makkah, it will not be a peaceful reappearance. I was hoping to touch on this tomorrow, but as we are on it a couple of minutes and no more, in Makkah alone, immediately after reappearance, he will fight 3 battles. Our prayer that we should be amongst his companions is from that angle, to be with him then, and to serve him at that particular point in time. The 313, the celebrated ones, will be the first group with him, but he will need them as the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny, needed the 313 in Badr. There will be Allah's help, but the 313 had to be there in Badr. Likewise will be the position then, because the moment the governor of Makkah will come to know that there is somebody claiming to be the Mahdi Ajjalallahu Farajahu, and he is going to take charge over Makkah, he is not going to sit back and surrender. He will fight. Indeed, the fight will be so severe that it is said in the books that rivers of water will flow in the streets of Makkah. That will be the first charge, the first jihad the 12th Imam alayhi salam will have. He will appoint a governor and will want to go to Medina, but whilst still on the way to Medina, he will get news that the governor of the ex-governor of Makkah has already toppled his representative and taken charge of Makkah. So the Imam alayhi salam will have to come back to Makkah and refight that governor, kill him altogether, kill all his cronies, so that there is no chance of his representative being toppled again. But 3 battles will be fought in Makkah before the Imam alayhi salam reaches Medina. When he will reach Medina, of course, Sufyani's army will have gone, most of them destroyed in the desert of Baida. He will restore Medina to its proper shape and proper glory, and the tomb of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny. And what we yearn to say to Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Farajahu, even on this night of Ta'asua, is to restore the grave of Bibi Fatima to Zahra salamullahi alayha. Because it is such a grieving position for us when we are in Medina that we cannot find her true grave. And may the 12th Imam alayhi salam restore that grave of Bibi Fatima alayhi salam to its proper place and its proper status and dignity. All that done, he will get the news of what Sufyani is doing, and hence he will decide that he will march to Damascus to fight Sufyani. Two versions, I will leave with the first version first. Sufyani getting the news that the 12th Imam alayhi salam is chasing him there, he will amass his army to fight the 12th Imam alayhi salam. But an interesting event happens here, and again, this is a necessary sign. This is a sure sign that we have been given by Hazrat Amir alayhi salam. And again, the certainty has been confirmed by the 4th Imam alayhi salam, has been confirmed by the 6th Imam alayhi salam, has been confirmed by the 8th Imam alayhi salam. As I said, these alamat have been mentioned to us by all Imams alayhimus salam. There is no place, there is no room for anyone to say that this is fairy tales. As I've heard it being said, there is just no room for that proposition at all. And as this is why I was at pains to say that you find these in Sunnite books also. And Sufyani also is discussed, as I've said, at least quoting two authorities on it, Mustadrak and Yanabiul Mawadda. However, be that as it may, the Imam alayhi salam will set out with his army. When he will come to the border of Damascus, it will be near time to Fajr, and he will pause there. The army will think that the Imam alayhi salam has paused there for Fajr prayers. And indeed, orders will be issued that everybody lined up and it's time for Fajr prayers, but he will not order the adhan to be made. So, people will think he knows best and will wait. But how long does Fajr last? When time will get closer to sunrise, some of them will even go to him and say, Yabna Rasulillah, sunrise is getting close now, and you haven't yet issued orders for adhan. And he will say, yes, I am still waiting for one guest whom I have to receive now. Command from Allah is that he is coming down now. I cannot take precedence, I cannot go ahead, but he will be here before sunrise, and we will say our prayers, of course, before Salah becomes qada. And in no time after that, people will see Nabi Isa alayhi salam coming down from heaven. All those stories about his coming from Jerusalem and from Palestine, the authentic ones we have is, he will actually descend from heaven, and people will see him coming down from heaven. And when he will come down from heaven, the 12th Imam alayhi salam will receive him as Ruhullah, and will say, time for prayers coming to an end. So before anything else, shall we say our prayers first? You can see the importance of Salah. In Karbala, even indeed at the time of having to fight Sufyani, this is the importance the Imam alayhi salam will give to Fajr prayers. Hence, great duty on us to keep a check on our Fajr prayers and make sure we say them in good time. Indeed, the point I wish to make, even at the risk of taking your time, is that the Imam alayhi salam will say his prayers, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will say his prayers, and he will say his prayers in our way. He will, in other words, he will stand in prayers, and there will be qira'ah, he will make ruku' in prayers, he will make sajda in prayers. Indeed, he will pray the way the 12th Imam alayhi salam will have prayed. Therefore, when you see the Christians going to the church there and praying their way, you know for sure that they are corrupt. That they have corrupted their methods of prayer. This kneeling at the altar is nowhere a ruku, is nowhere a sajda. And I keep raising this question, that where is your method? Quran says, Bibi Maryam alayha salam made ruku, warka'i wasjudi. Surah Maryam, she made ruku, she made sajda. Where do we see the Christians doing that? Where is the truth in that religion? Where is the authenticity, the pristine nature of the religion that Nabi Isa alayhi salam taught? But when he will come down and the 12th Imam alayhi salam will say it's time for prayers, he will say, yes indeed, let us say our prayers. He will not need to be taught, how to make ruku or sajda by the 12th Imam. He will know it. Indeed, the 12th Imam alayhi salam will invite him to lead the prayers. Would the Ma'asum invite someone to lead the prayers who would not have led the prayers the way the Holy Prophet said his prayers? That is proof that he will say his prayers in exactly the way the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny taught how prayers should be said. No difference in reality and in substance. So the 12th Imam alayhi salam will say, and Nabi Isa will say, me? And he says, yes, you are a prophet of Allah, you are Ruhullah, you lead the prayers and I will pray behind you. And Nabi Isa will say, impossible. Impossible, that is never going to happen. You are the Imam of the time. I may have been a prophet once upon a time. You are the Imam of the time, and you are the Khalif. You are the Khalif of the leader of all of our Anbiya. When we talk of Hazrat Amir alayhi salam, whether he is afdal to all the Anbiya who have come before the Holy Prophet, some people raise their eyebrows. They say, oh, this was a Khalif, this was a wasi of a prophet. How can a wasi be more, or have greater excellence over those who are prophets and those who are messengers of God? The answer lies here. Here is a messenger of, and indeed he was a Rasul. He had Injil, he had a full book. And yet when that time comes, he says to the 12th Imam alayhi salam, you are the Imam of the time, and you are a wasi of the Sayyidul Mursaleen, of the leaders of all prophets. You will lead the prayers and I will lead behind you. The Imam alayhi salam, only out of deference to a prophet of Allah, will hesitate, and Nabi Isa alayhi salam will hold him by the hand and take him to the mihrab and get him to lead prayers, and Nabi Isa alayhi salam will pray behind him. That is an event will take place at the threshold of the capital of Sufyani. Then the Imam alayhi salam will march into Damascus. He will fight Sufyani, and Sufyani will die at the hands of the Imam alayhi salam. The Nabi Isa alayhi salam will participate in that battle, and from then onwards Nabi Isa alayhi salam will march into Palestine, and the first thing that the Nabi Isa alayhi salam will do will be to destroy all the crosses that he will see. He will say, oh, this is false, this is not the religion of Allah. He will enter those churches, destroy crosses on churches, destroy those churches, and say, this is not the religion of Allah, and will lead the Christians onto the straight path. Hence, there will be one common religion, one common brotherhood between those who were Christians then and the Muslims of the time. Indeed, this is how matters will develop between Christianity and Muslims. And that statement we see of how there will be universal brotherhood will spring up from there. But another hadith says that Sufyani will have run away to Palestine. So after Nabi Isa alayhi salam's arrival, they will march into Syria, they will take charge of Syria, and then both the 12th Imam and Nabi Isa will move into Palestine, and Sufyani will be killed in Palestine. But wherever that might be, this is where they will go. But I must hasten to talk about Sayyid Hassani. While there will be this negative system created by Sufyani, there will be a positive one that will be created by Sayyid Hassani. He is called that because he will be from the progeny of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Indeed, he deserves that salawat because he has a unique position. He has a unique position in the progeny of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny. Indeed, I do not recall if I've already said, I think I once may have said this already, even in these 10 days, but not to take more than a few seconds of yours to remind you that the 12th Imam alayhi salam is truly from the progeny of Imam Hassan alayhi salam as much from the progeny of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And that is why you find hadith, even in Sunnah it works, even when Sahih Muslim refers to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, refers to him as Ibn al-Hasan, because he was called Ibn al-Hasan by the Holy Prophet himself. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his progeny, gave considerable respects to Imam Hassan alayhi salam. I've had the fortune to discuss this, all the status of Imam Hassan alayhi salam with you, and I remind you of those instances. I only say that because there are those Muslims calling themselves Shias and want to degrade the position of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Some of them saying we do not recognize him as an Imam. It is not for you to recognize him as an Imam or not. Allah appointed him as an Imam. And we know this because the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny declared him as an Imam in all the names he gave. When he gave 12 names, as you know, Sahih Muslim talks of there being 12 Imams after the Holy Prophet. Bukhari talks of there being 12 Imams of the Holy Prophet. Is it suggested that although the Holy Prophet mentioned 12, nobody bothered to ask him who the 12 would be? It is contrary to common sense. It defies logic that nobody would ask. When he was asked, he repeatedly mentioned the 12, and immediately after Hazrat Amir alayhi salam, he pinpointed Imam Hassan alayhi salam as a immediate successor to Hazrat Amir alayhi salam. And it is from his progeny that this Sayyid Hassani will emerge, and his slogan will be Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. We have already discussed last night how Amr bil Ma'ruf will already be almost impossible in those times. You can't say to someone else that he's doing anything wrong. You'd immediately be told, mind your own business, or be insulted for it. It will be non-existent, and that is why more and more punishment from Allah, more and more adhab from Allah. And may Allah save us from a state in which we cannot tell each other how we go wrong. Amr bil Ma'ruf, the Hazrat Amir alayhi salam said, is one of the most important tenets for the progress and survival of any community. All the more our community. However, that will be the slogan of Sayyid Hassani. He will come out from Khurasan, he will move down, he will get even to Karman, and from Karman he will come to Mosul. Then he will want to cross into Iraq. His main purpose of crossing into Iraq will be to fight Sufyani. Because Sufyani will be in Iraq at that point in time. He will cross by boat into Basra. When he will get to Basra, he will learn that Sufyani has already left Kufa for Damascus. He will get the news of Zuhur. So he will want to go to Makkah to join with the 12th Imam alayhi salam. He will then be told the 12th Imam has already left for Medina. He will make inquiries. He'll be told he's already coming towards Kufa. And because from Kufa he will then march to Damascus, so he will remain in Kufa in order to meet the 12th Imam alayhi salam, and he will ultimately join in his army. Most of the people will become Shias altogether. The Imam alayhi salam will prove his imamah. He will be questioned. But he will be questioned by the soldiers in the army of Sayyid Hassani. Prove to us that you truly are the Mahdi. And the Imam alayhi salam will give 7 proofs. Time is running and we cannot discuss those 7 at all. But he will produce the asa of the Holy Prophet, strike it on the ground, and a tree will grow exactly as it happened when that asa was struck on the ground by the Holy Prophet. And indeed leaves will blossom and fruits will ripen in matter of seconds. He will have the ring of Nabi Sulaiman, and birds will come, and he will speak to the birds in their language. And they will speak to the Imam alayhi salam. All that will be seen. Indeed, he will have the asa of the stick of Nabi Musa. He will strike it on stone, and 12 streams of water will flow. He will put forward all those proofs, and the vast majority in the army of Sayyid Hassani will bring faith in him and make his bay'ah as the Mahdi of the time. But 4,000 Yamanis will not. There will be Zaydis, and they will refuse. You remember these, we have discussed Zaydis also here, and we discussed how they regard their Imam Zayd as a Mahdi, and hence they will not accept Hazrat the 12th Imam alayhi salam as the Mahdi of the time. Ultimately there will be a battle with them too before the Imam alayhi salam moves on to kill Sufyan. Apart from these leading 4 signs that I have discussed, there will be other signs. We have mentioned about what will happen in Rajab, in the holy month of Ramadan. There will be amazing eclipses. There will be eclipse of the sun in the middle of the month instead of the end of the month. And there will be eclipse of the moon at the end of the month instead of the middle of the month. It will be the first time that the order of eclipses will be reversed. Indeed, on the 23rd night there will be a heavy shriek from the sky. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny himself mentions about this shriek and says, be careful on that night. Remain in prayer the whole of that night, because it will be the eve of Laylatul Qadr, and it will be Shab-e Jum'ah also. And then on the next day, don't go out of your houses. Keep your windows and doors thoroughly locked. Keep away from glass, because that shriek will wreak considerable havoc throughout the world. But that will be a sign that Zuhur is near. Indeed, that will be a year in which pilgrims will be looted and will not be allowed to go to Hajj. And on the 23rd of Zil-Hajj, a very pious person will be killed. Nafs Zakiyah will be killed by a Rukn wal Maqam, between the corner of the Kaaba and Maqam Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. That pious person will be killed. Indeed, before that, another pious person will be killed just outside the walls of Kufa with 72 pious men. So all those signs will herald the arrival of the Imam alayhi salam, who will ultimately reappear on the 10th of Muharram, on the day of Ashura. Just as Imam Hussain alayhi salam gave life to preserve Islam on the day of Ashura, so will Imam Mahdi alayhi salam come in and reappear on Ashura day to revive Islam when it will have been so weak and so much destroyed. That then will restart the era of Islam. We'll continue from that inshallah tomorrow night. What is important is that on that day of Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam did similar things in Karbala to ensure that Islam which the 12th Imam alayhi salam was to revive remains and sustained all through. He nurtured it. And therefore, in order to go to Karbala to protect and save Islam, he decided he will not take ordinary people to Karbala. And that is why each one of his companions there was either a faqih, or he was a muhaddis, or he was an abid of highest level. He selected, as the 12th Imam alayhi salam will select, he selected people of highest piety, and of them he deliberately took his son Ali al-Akbar. And the great merit of Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, as we know, is that he was every inch a replica of the Holy Prophet himself. Indeed, he was, when you looked at him, you saw the Holy Prophet. Indeed, when he went to the battlefield to fight, the soldiers of Yazid were not prepared to fight him, turned round to Umar ibn Sa'd and said, this is the Holy Prophet himself who is come to fight us. And Umar ibn Sa'd says, but he's so young, the Holy Prophet has been martyred years ago. And they turn round to him and say, well, because this is the battle, we believe the Holy Prophet has made himself young to come and fight us on that account. And indeed, Umar ibn Sa'd used other companions of the Holy Prophet to turn around and convince, and you can see how companions of the Holy Prophet can be abused for these purposes, to satisfy them that this is Ali al-Akbar, the son of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He, however, did not lie. In his rijz, he identified himself as a son of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, as truly a grandson of the Holy Prophet. The point he made was, how does it matter who I am? What matters is that I am the son of the grandson of the Holy Prophet. And if you believed in him, what reason have you got to fight me? What reason have you got to fight my father? Indeed, when he went to seek leave of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, saying, Father, I must now go to fight. I cannot see you in this state. I cannot see enemies fighting you like this, maiming you, injuring you like this, and I just sit and watch and be on your side, because he was at the side of his brother, of his father at every stage of the journey to Karbala. Indeed, Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, Akbar, how do I let you go? You have not married yet. You do not have sons. If you had a son the way I have you would not have uttered these words to me. It is only a loving father who knows how he can let a loving son go to die. Indeed, there is no way I can let you go to die. But Shehzad Ali Akbar says, I must go to die, because how do I meet the Holy Prophet, and how do I tell him on the Day of Judgment that I did not sacrifice my life on you on this particular occasion? Imam Hussain alayhi salam turns around to him that, Akbar, if you must go, first go and get the permission of your aunt Zainab. Zainab is the one who has brought you up. Go and get her permission. When he goes to get permission from Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, Bibi Zainab says, Akbar, how did my brother allow you to go? And he said, I used the same argument you used to get Awna Muhammad permission. What face do I show Bibi Fatima to Zahra salamullahi alayha if I spare myself today? And Zainab says, Akbar, you defeat me. I was not going to let you go, but you will tell me exactly that. What face do we show Fatima to Zahra salamullahi alayha if today I was to withhold you? Go, Akbar, go. Put yourself down as one of those who helped in saving Islam. And Shehzad Ali Akbar then goes to his mother, gets her approval, and indeed goes back to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam embellishes him also in the war, in the clothes of a warrior. And when Akbar is ready to go, Imam Hussain alayhi salam raises his hands and says, Ya Allah, I am now sending even him who every inch is a replica of your Prophet. When I wanted to make ziyarah of the Holy Prophet, I would look at Akbar, and Akbar provided me everything of the Holy Prophet. His countenance matches that of the Prophet. His way of walking matches that of the Prophet. His indeed voice matches that of the Prophet. And that is why the adhan of Subh on the day of Ashura was given by Akbar. Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, Akbar, you give the adhan so that these people can last for the last time hear the voice of the Holy Prophet himself. Akbar gives his adhan. Bibi Zainab alayhi salam raises her hand saying, Ya Allah, may this voice become permanent in the world, and let not be thought that those prayers were not accepted because Akbar was martyred, because that Allahu Akbar from Shehzad Akbar is what has remained till today. Indeed, Akbar goes and ultimately fights greatest of warriors and defeats them. A stage comes when Shehzad Ali Akbar is on the ground now, calls for his father. The father goes to attend to him. Indeed, when the father goes to attend to him, finds that he is holding on to his liver, he turns round and says, why are you doing that? Yeah, the Shehzad Ali Akbar says, not important. Imam Hussain alayhi salam investigates, finds that arrow and the edge of it still pricked in the liver. Imam Hussain alayhi salam to relieve Akbar of that pain even at the last minute, indeed himself raises his sleeves, holds that arrow, the edge of the river of the arrow, and now this elderly father pulls that arrow out only to relieve the dying son of the pain of that piercing arrow. Shehzad Ali Akbar is now relieved, he's able to talk and says to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Father, you have always been worried about my being thirsty. What can I say to you? I already see your grandfather, the Holy Prophet himself coming, and I see he's holding a glass of Kawthar for me. I regret, I grieve this, oh Father. I will have water in matter of a few minutes now. You still have a few hours. How will you spend those hours, oh my Father, in the thirst in which you have? And so saying, his soul goes into the heavens altogether. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is now wahidan farida. He is now alone. Two people who always were at his side. Abbas had left him. Akbar has now left him. Hussain now all alone with the body of his son. How does Hussain lift that body? Indeed, he had lost all his courage by then. He did not have the strength even to lift the body of Akbar. He shouts to Zainab and says, Zainab, please send a few children over. Bibi Zainab alayhi salam rushes, says, no Zainab, I am alive, you will not come out of the tent. Send these little children now, come over. They, with the help of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, bring the body of Akbar to the tent. When Zainab sees the body of Akbar, she prostrates to Allah, saying, Oh Allah, it is your grace that we can offer a son so handsome, such a replica of the Prophet in the service of Islam. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة.